Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Patch 10.2 is a massive new update that's coming sometime soon for Dragonflight, a major addition filled with the new seasonal content like raids, dungeons, and PvP, an entire new zone of the Emerald Dream, more character customizations, and a whole lot of new class changes. And one of the classes lucky to get a revamp this time around is my all-time favorite main, the class of Rogue. And the class changes thus far got a lot in the community excited, with many looking to jump onto the Rogue train as it's starting to look much better than ever before. As someone who mains a rogue over the last few expansions, I have been getting messages from you guys asking me about this class for the patch 10.2. Like, is it worth working on a rogue right now in anticipation for the 10.2? Is it a class worth switching your current mains to, or potentially have one on the side just as a fun alt? Some of you are even thinking of starting Dragonflight for the first time in the patch 10.2 and are wondering if the rogue hype is worth jumping into. So in this video, I wanted to answer some of these questions and go over what you can expect from a rogue as a brand new player. Also, it is worth noting patch 10.2 and the class of rogue are both still a work in progress. And I can't comment on the class performance within endgame content like raids and dungeons without the final class tuning numbers. But I can go over the features of the class and different aspects and what inspires some confidence behind choosing to play a rogue heading into the next update. But before we answer if the class of rogue is right for you, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding Dragonflight 10.2 or any of the future updates going forward. As a class, Rogue stands out pretty unique from every other playstyle as it manages two resources, combo points and energy. Energy management is handled differently depending on your spec. For Outlaw Rogue, it is passive. For Subtlety Rogues, it is active. And for Assassination, you regenerate energy from applying poisons and bleeds to enemy targets. Combo points building and spending is also managed differently by every one of its specs, with the Outlaw Rogue offering fast-paced builder-spender playstyle, while a spec like Subtlety offers a more slower and a methodical bit of gameplay. The early leveling experience for a brand new rogue player is fantastic, as stealth makes up a huge bulk of the fun of the gameplay. Being able to stealth past most threats allows you unparalleled access to every building and every cavern. You also get to pick your battles and control your environment with plentiful tools of crowd control. And the fantastic survivability makes most activities in the open world a lot less threatening. If you've played the class of Rogue before, you'll notice that the class talent tree capstone choices aren't too different within the patch 10.2. Where the stealth robe still focuses on enhancing damage while in stealth, while providing new access to Shadow Dance. When it comes to resources and combo points row, we do have new competition for the capstone of Deeper Stratagem with a new refined Mark for Death. Enemies marked will take additional damage from all of your finishers during the ability duration, which helps emphasize the iconic Deadly Assassin gameplay, which allows rogues to pick out a single target out of a crowd. The middle row still focuses around the ability of Echo and Reprimand. Then we have the crit row, which is roughly the same, as well as the energy management row, except for the talent of Vigor, which does allow you to greatly expand your energy caps beyond what most other classes have access to, which makes rogues even more unique and stand out from other energy users like monks and feral druids. And just like before, the talent economy allows you to fully invest into at least 3 of these rows, or forgo certain capstone choices to partially invest your way into enhancing certain aspects. But the vast majority of the class tree will consist of non-offensive gameplay enhancements. Rather, it is filled with new defensive capabilities, poison utility, stealth improvements, mobility improvements, and a lot of other optional personal choices that let you better define your rogue in any way you wish without directly impacting your DPS performance. As most of the DPS increases will be found within each and every single one of its playstyle options, whether you choose the path of the Assassin, the Outlaw, or the more subtle approach. Assassination rogues as of the patch 10.2 are looking to feel familiar, at least when it comes to their basic abilities and rotation, but the engine that runs this spec has gained quite a few new features. One of the best parts of Assassination rogues is their focus on bleeds and poisons, and while bleeds are used to tear your targets to shreds, leaving them to wither away over time, poisons are usually more concentrated and cause immediate damage, which results in greater burst capabilities. Patch 10.2 supports both of these forms of gameplay, where poison builds can finally combine the power of the Kingsbane Toxin together with the Dragon Temper Blades for a truly venomous combination. Dragon Temper Blades allows you to coat your weapons with multiple poisons, though at a reduced application rate, while Kingsbane delivers a potent toxin that grows in power with every poison application. But those of you favoring bleed builds the most will be happy to hear about a talent of Sudden Demise, which not only improves the value of all of your bleeds, while also giving Assassination Rogue some heart-stopping potential. Next, we have the AoE damage of Assassination Rogues, which has been somewhat underwhelming for the last few expansions. The spec is renowned for its single target damage output within raids, but generally finds itself struggling within the dungeon environment. While it's possible to craft a talent build that works for AoE and single target, usually it comes at a trade-off. You have to give up certain single target aspects to do better in AoE, and you can only really focus in AoE or single target or be somewhat middling at both. But 10.2 seeks to remedy a lot of that AoE grief by providing you with a new scaling value for Crimson Tempest, making it do more damage the more targets you shred into, as well as talents like Caustic Spatter, which gives all poisons effects an ability to cleave nearby targets, which allows you to focus on priority damage without giving up any cleave value. Another aspect of Assassination Rogue that sees an overhaul is in its resource management. With the new talent of Path of Blood, Assassination can hold up to 300 energy at a time and use it in a variety of ways. With this much energy, you can now tax certain abilities with vicious venoms, adding 10 more energy to abilities like Ambush and Mutilate, but causing them to do 70% more damage as pure poison. Then we also have a new version of the Exsanguinate talent, which comes in two forms. First of all, the active version of the ability will tax all of your bleeds for 10 seconds, causing them to double their effectiveness for a short moment but cost additional energy. Or a passive version where as long as you're above 150 energy, your bleeds will also consume 4 energy per tick while also duplicating only a portion of their damage. Overall, this allows Assassination Rogues to experiment with resource management in a new and a creative way, and adds a new form of depth into the playstyle, which is always exciting to see. The base version of the Outlaw Rogue spec is a nice start, but definitely needs a few more features to be fully complete, and patch 10.2 seeks to make a few more additions. First of all, basic spells that make up the core of the Outlaw Rogue, things like your Blade Flurry Cleave, your cooldown reduction of Restless Blades, Roll the Bones, Between the Eyes, and Grapple and Hook are all earned natively throughout your leveling journey. It's impossible to make a build without most of these tools, so this change cuts out a few more talent points that can be spent elsewhere. This has spawned new talents such as Swift Slasher version that increases auto attack speeds based off of your haste. This talent does a lot of things at once. First of all, faster auto attacks, which leads to better damage, but also faster auto attacks can generate you more energy, as well as a massive value gain from raid cooldowns such as Bloodlust, which make stats like haste a lot less worthless in general. Death Maneuvers makes Blade Flurry generate comp points within AoE fights, which is incredibly satisfying to use in combat. And then we have the more complex talents such as Underhanded Upper Hand, where Slice and Dice buff is permanent as long as you have your Blade Flurry up. Blade Flurry buff is also permanent during Adrenaline Rush, and Adrenaline Rush is permanent during Stealth. This includes a stealth version of Subterfuge Vanish as well as the Shadow Dance momentary window of stealth. It's a lot to take in at first, but you will notice that your Adrenaline Rush window lasts a lot longer. Blade Flurry uptime is fairly crazy, and Slice and Dice rarely needs to be refreshed, so you're free to spend your comp points on any other offensive finisher. The new positional adjustments to the Outlaw Rogue talents also allow it to flow better as you make your way towards the capstone choices, where we have the crowd favorite of Hidden Opportunity if you enjoy the Ambush Outlaw gameplay. You have plenty of support towards pistol shots, as well as buff management with Keep It Rolling, but then you also have the new talent or adjusted talent of the new Killing Spree, which has now become a finisher that deals far more damage per combo point spent. The current version of Killing Spree is a glorified filler ability, where every other ability takes priority unless you're fully out of energy. In 10.2, it packs quite a punch and can now scale with other talented options. Spree also gives you a momentary immunity. Damage taken during a killing spree is then delayed as magic damage over 8 seconds. This change makes using Spree a lot less punishing since you can't really control your position of your rogue as you teleport around your target. But also this allows you to use Killing Spree as a proper immunity, kind of like a bubble or an ice block, where you can use a Killing Spree during a powerful boss ability and then remove all of its damage with an ability like Cloak of Shadows, which is pretty good for any physical damage that you can't easily avoid. Then we also have my new favorite capstone talent of Crackshot. Casting between the eyes during stealth incurs no cooldown and causes you to also dispatch your target for free. This talent is insane as it allows you to unload pistol shots during your opener and delivers on the fast-paced, quick reaction gameplay that comes with playing an Outlaw rogue. Out of all the three rogue specs, Subtlety is the one that's seen some of the most notable differences. While the base gameplay of backstabs and shadow strikes hasn't changed much, the way you approach your cooldowns definitely has. The current version of Subtlety just sends its cooldowns whenever they are available and doesn't try to sync abilities like Symbols of Death or Shadow Dance together. But in 10.2, this is changing and the spec is going to a different direction where they want your burst to feel strong but also for you to have notable downtime. The current new version of Subtlety reverts back to the double dance windows where you're trying to line up all of your cooldowns together around your Symbols of Death, focusing on weaving together abilities every 30 seconds instead of independently. This creates a new structured playstyle that takes a little bit more planning, resulting in a slightly higher skill cap but also becoming more rewarding. Shadow Blades as a cooldown has also been massively improved. During Blades, combo point builders would generate maximum combo points instantly, which is satisfying to use, as every finisher becomes more visceral and allows you to unleash your combo points fully in any way you see fit, which feels fairly empowering. Like the other rogue specs, Subtlety also gains new talented options, such as the ability to stun all targets around you with Kidney Shot, as the talent allows Subtlety to embrace its fantasy of the master planner of ambushing as well as control, a powerful utility which will get a lot of value in Mythic Plus dungeons as well as certain PvP situations. Like the other two specs, Subtlety's capstones have also seen improvements as well. While Dance Macabre and Dark Brew remain mostly the same, the Rotten will empower any combo point spender by 50%, though without additional resource generation. The passive of Shadow Techniques has also been adjusted, where auto-attacking targets allows you to stack up charges of Shadow Technique. Using combo point builders adds those charges to the ability, making sure you don't waste your combo points ever in the process. The new capstone of Shadowcraft increases Technique's effectiveness while providing you with ample resources inside of your Symbols of Death windows. Then we have the new capstone of Gormo's Bite, a returning ability from the expansion of Legion. Gormos deals significant shadow damage on its own, generates 3 combo points, and erases the energy cost from your next 3 finishers, which makes your Shadow Dance windows feel a lot more fluid with the reduction to the energy cost. Overall, Subtlety is the one spec that's going through quite a number of changes, which some of you will enjoy if you like combining your cooldowns together. Those of you preferring the freedom of cooldown management with the current Subtlety may find some of these changes a little bit less to your taste, but it makes specs like Outlaw Rogue and Assassination worth exploring, since the other two may better deliver on that type of gameplay. Another advantage of playing rogues for the patch 10.2, unless we see further changes to our tier sets, it looks like our current version of tier set bonuses aren't overly restrictive. While some classes will have certain talents or abilities that will try to encourage you to spec into, the rogue tier sets are fairly open. This allows you to better explore every single one of the rogue specs and try on a variety of different talents and capstones additions with as much freedom as possible. And finally, while none of the class tuning is final for the patch 10.2, since we don't have a release date just yet, it's great to see the back and forth communication between the devs and the community. As exciting as all of these rogue changes are, in truth, at least a handful of talents aren't landing just quite right. And this is where the community gets to bring in some of the concerns and issues with the placement or their functionality. And it's fantastic to see the devs responding to these concerns directly. And the back and forth communication only fuels more confidence into my current main. Even though unfinished, Rogue as a class feels pretty refreshing to play on the PTR. The early look at the class definitely inspires a lot of excitement from the community. And if you were looking for a next class to play for the patch 10.2, even though we're not out of the woods just yet, the early iteration of Rogue with the plan on maining Assassination, Outlaw, or Subtlety all feel fantastic to experience over on the PTR. And hopefully with additional improvements by the time 10.2 officially releases, more players will be able to choose the class of Rogue as the place to call home for the next rating and seasonal tier within the dream of the Guardians. So as for the end of the video, I want to pass the question off to you guys in the comments down below. What class are you planning to main for the patch 10.2? Or what class options are you trying to pick in between? And have you considered the class of Rogue as a potential main going forward? Or did this video convince you to give the new Rogue changes a go once patch 10.2 officially goes live? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. as per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.